Okay, we have a 1979 Cadillac Deville here. We're replacing the water pump. Kind of buried back down in there. We've got to remove these belts, brackets for the alternator and the alternator, the AC pump, power steering pump, that little pulley that's connected to the water pump, also the lower radiator hose. What we've done so far is we just removed the fan shroud, the upper part of it. We just set it right there so you can see it, and also the fan. So we're going to kind of go through this, show you how to do it. We have removed the alternator bracket. It's best to just move that to the side, that way you don't have to worry about it. We may not have to take off the AC pump, but I've already removed all the bolts, except for this one. I just wanted to kind of point it out to you. Pretty hard to get to, but if you can see it, it's right here. And you got to just use a little 3/8 open-end wrench to get that off. And just hand do it. I saved that one for the last. And just, when you get it all done, just pull that bolt out. In this particular, you got to pick your feast or famine here. It's either you take off that fuel pump line right there, take this off, or you take off the belt and loosen it up. So what I decided to do is take the power steering pump off. There's a bolt right here. There's also 2 more bolts, and I'll show you where those ones are at. Anything you guys have ever done a GM power steering pump, you know they're kind of a pain in the butt. There's one right here, and then there's another one right back here behind that pump. So hopefully you guys can see, but anyway, that's kind of what you got to do, and then just loosen those up with just a open-end wrench, 9/16, old school, and just slide that forward, and then your belt should just pop right off. There you go. I've taken the new pump out so you can kind of see where the bolt holes are. Just kind of give you an idea. So I'm going to go ahead and take these just to get an idea of what needs to be broke loose. Just take a little hammer, hit it a couple times, pop right out. Okay, there we go. That's what the pump looks like, well, away from the block. So you'll see this line right here, this fuel line that goes right to the fuel pump. Kind of gets in your way, but what I did is I just unhooked it right from the connector into the carburetor, and I left pretty much most of it there. But we have quite a bit of play, so we can get the new pump in and out. We'll go ahead and get this all cleaned up and get the new pump ready to go in. Alright, if you watch any of my other videos, you kind of know I like to show you guys what parts you have to take apart. Right here is just a fan, the air shroud, the belt that goes to the AC, the alternator belt, the alternator pulley, and the little bracket that holds on the alternator. Little packages of bolts, and this is all I need for tools to do that, to take that apart. Not very much, just a couple of sockets and some wrenches. But I wanted to show you on the new pump. Actually, I'll show you on the old pump. This is just leaking from the weep hole. That's what this thing's called. There's just a little hole right here that lets the water leak out. You can see it a little bit better on this one. But when these get bad, these seals go bad, and then the water just leaks right past the bearing, comes out this little weep hole. As you can see on the new one, it's set up the same way. And that's usually what goes bad, and that's where this one was leaking, because you can see the trail of water and deposits that come off of there. So that's why we're replacing this pump. So go ahead and clean up this. This is pretty obvious. What I've used is just a little razor blade that's attached to a screwdriver. It's designed to be a gasket scraper. And then I'll just go and scrape off the area. When I get this all cleaned off, then I'll go back through it again with my grinder on my air compressor and clean it up a little bit better. But it's good to just get all the gaskets off using this. Pretty self-explanatory, but I just thought I'd show you. Alright, in this clip, we're just going to kind of show you how we clean this off. This is actually a gasket scraper wheel. You get those from any Snap-on, Blue Point, Mack truck. Basically, just on a die grinder, just kind of go in here and clean up the gasket here. It's always a good idea, even with the new water pump, just kind of run over it with a little pad, just to make sure you don't get any burrs, you know, in chipping or whatever. Just kind of go over it real fast. Don't get real aggressive with it. just like that. That's about it. Okay, with this clip, we're just going to show you how to put this on. It's pretty simple. It's just a super high tack. That's what I like to use. So just take that, lay out your gasket the way you want it. Just set it in place. Take your gasket sealer stuff. Just put it up there. Just like that. And just smooth it out with your finger. And then put your gasket on and we'll just lay it down in place. If you've watched any of my videos, I like to show you as much as I can. That way it's most beneficial for you. So just like that, and then just stick your gasket on there, line it all up, and that's it. Alright, I like to make sure I get my gasket on nice and straight. So I take the bolts, put them in from the reverse side, and then that way it's all lined up perfectly straight, and let this dry overnight, and then we'll put it back in the morning. Alrighty, what we did here, I'm going to kind of show you, we just cleaned off the bolts. I just put some gasoline and let them soak overnight. It's really nice to clean these off. There's a bunch of debris and stuff. Just to give you an idea, this is what came off of one of the bolts. Just let them sit in gas overnight. And then I just take them, put them right back in this container. And then I'll hit them with just a little bit of WD-40 just to lubricate them up. It's just that little extra. You know, you just want to make sure you do it so that you have your bolts nice and clean and they go in real well. One thing you don't want to do is go ahead and put your bolt back in here and have it strip out because your bolt's dirty, and then you have to pull the engine out or re-tap it. That's just a pain in the butt. So just take a little bit of your silicone that we use to put the base on and just go like that. What that does, as that goes into the block, it just kind of helps seal it as well. So I do both. I lubricate the bolt with WD-40 and then I'll put some silicone on it so it goes together real nice. You've got the water pump all put in. You want to make sure you start with the outside bolts, the big ones first. Tighten those ones down first, then these next bigger ones, and then the smallest ones. And then, like I said, that one that's down underneath here, the one that's hard to see, you got to do that one with your open end wrench. So I've got that all tightened down. I'm going to show you guys a cool little trick on these bolts. To get these nice and snug, what you need to do, take one of your bolts, put it on, just thread it on like that. Take the other one and thread it on, so you have two of them on there. Take one wrench, put it here, take the other one and put it on here, and then just tighten it down. And what that does, that'll lock that down into the shaft. And take your open end. You can do the same thing to take these out, just the opposite, if you need to take them out and switch them out, because sometimes your water pumps don't come with new bolts, or new studs I should say. So just kind of a cool little trick that you can do to tighten those down without needing some sort of a vise or a puller. You can do it all with these nuts. Pretty cool. What we're going to do here, I'm going to show you how to take them out of the old one. Just take your bolt, put it down on there, put it about halfway. Take your other bolt, put that on top, and these lock together. Let me show you how to do that. Make sure you don't want to go all the way down on when you're taking these out. So take these and lock it together like that. Take your wrench, put it on the bolt, and then just go like this, and it'll pull right out. And you turn the bottom one, not the top one, and it'll pull that right out. Pretty cool. Alright, she's all good. No leaks. A little bit of a pressure test. Make sure it's all good. The AC cycling. Oh, it's doing real good. 1979 Cadillac. Water pump is all done and complete. We've pressure tested it, looked for leaks, and she looks good. Did a good test drive, and she's all put back together. So we'll give you an outside pic, and that's what it'll look like. It should be done. Not too bad, about 4 hours to do. A little bit of time, a little bit of love. She's good to go. Okay, our 1979 Cadillac water pump is all done. This is what the car looks like on the outside. We've done some other stuff, detail it up, clean up the paint a little bit, but she's all done.